Welcome to Thursday's training call. I hope you're all awesome. Had a great week. It is Thursday already. Today, I want to share with you my lessons from moving databases. Now, I want to share with you a couple of the ups and the downs that we have encountered over the last couple of months on making a decision from move from one database to the next. And I wanted to share this story relevant to you so much because we've been and entrepreneurs. So I think I've been running my gym. It's 18 to 20 years, 2008. And we have changed booking systems multiple times as obviously our company has grown and as we've found the best one for us. Now, know that as you grow through your business, whatever database you have now might not be the same database you have in 3 or 4 years' time. And that's okay. What you need from a database now is not what you might have needed 3 or 4 years ago. That's fine. That's normal growth. But I want to do this training with you because if I'm really honest, this has been a massive eye opener on very much the time needed to move across to a new database with the size of your company. So I'm going to share a little bit of story with you. So the last time we changed database, it was about 5, 6 years ago, maybe 7, and we had around 250 students, something like that. And we were on a particular platform that wasn't giving us the next step growth we needed. And we moved across to this new one, and it was all great. And I remember the transition. It probably took about, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks to move everything across because we only had 200, 250 students. Fast forward to where we are now, when we have over 1,000 in terms of student numbers. And the journey has been very, very different. Now, when we looked at our database, we were looking at very clear objectives on what is the old one not doing for us? What does the new one need to give us? So we were really crystal clear on what we were looking for. What I didn't take into account is the time frame needed to move a much bigger company across to the new system. So in hindsight, I would have had, and when we move systems again in the future, would be to have 2 systems running at the same time for a minimum of 3 months. Now, of course, you're going to be paying for both systems. But when we had the call, when we moved across this new system, moving across a whole new system and many, many members in 5 to 6 weeks was completely unachievable. Completely unachievable. We started this beginning of November. By the 1st of December, thinking that a lot of our payments would be all in sync, well, I was very much wrong. Because we think when we're moving systems, all of our clients have got to set up on the new system, have got to register for a new account, have got to get their payment details on the new system. Now, this was all different depending what system you're using. But in my experience, most payment details aren't moved from one system to a next for security issues. So it affected us on a cash flow issue big time on the 1st of December. Now, everyone was paying, but it was like gradual. Now, obviously, we set up, we sent enough information to clients mid-November saying our system is changing. Please sign up. Here's the link. Here we go. Now, you're moving many clients across that need a lot of hand holding. And as nice it would be for them to go, click and there's no issues. Of course, this is tech that is never smooth sailing. And we had a lot of issues. And we had many people, the link was not working. There was some functionality on the back end with Stripe. The payment then didn't come in on the right time. So we spent most of December, bear in mind half a month, because we broke up on the 19th of December. We spent most of that almost really, if I'm honest, firefighting big time, because we had cash flow coming in, but it was cash flow that was staggered so slowly of customers trickling in. So I had to use a portion of our savings to move across to pay wages until the business had caught up. I had planned for that part, not a problem. But what I didn't envision was the next steps of the learning. Now we've moved to a much complicated system, which in time should do a lot more for us, but it's taking so much more time for my team to learn. It's been a lot more than I said we thought on catching up. There's, think of just in terms of catching up on emails, catching up on payments. The first 2 weeks of January were, I think my team had 190 emails on the 5th of Jan when they walked through the door. Now, bear in mind, we're closed for December. Didn't expect that many people over Christmas to be emailing. Normally would come in and there's probably maybe 70, 80. But all of those we're trying to do this. We're working through that. I need to make this payment. So they're all emails that are not a quick response like, yep, got it, thank you. It's a painstakingly sorting each person's account out. Now, I spoke to my admin and sales team, and we've had another person helping on the phones during this transition. And that is, they've been literally going through each account. Now, we've found then you're moving a lot of students across. So making sure everyone's in the right class, making sure everyone's selected the right payment package. This takes so much more time than I ever planned for. Now, as we're approaching the end of Jan, they are now completely on top of the emails. 30, 40 emails probably come in every other day, depending. We're in busy enrollment season as well. But you're now on top of that big workload from the beginning of January. And now we can see the light a little bit more. So on that note, my purpose of this training for you today is when you're moving systems, when you're moving any system, to be honest, but particularly your database, when it is in line with your payments, your structure, your cash flow, your bottom line, when it affects the lifeblood of your business, which your database is so important. It really, really is. Just be aware of the time that you're doing for the changeover. As I said, in future, I would allow a good 3 months of 2 platforms operating. I would have the first month of my team actually understanding the platform inside out, back to front, getting dummy accounts. The second and third month, moving everybody across. Whereas this time round, we only had a month of getting to know the platform mixed with enrolling customers straight away. We did a few dummy accounts, but not as many as we should have done. So I would allow a lot more time on the front end for learning, for enrolling new customers, for getting the payments up front and getting them all registered. Maybe do a staggered entry. You might do, let's say, for us, I might do preschool first. We start with the under 4s. Once they're all sorted, we then move across the rest. And yes, it's clunky because you're working with 2 different systems, and it was 2 different payment systems, which is what I didn't want in the first place. But it's needed in hindsight a good 3 months, a good 90 days of 2 platforms operating at the same time and a staggered approach, rather than hundreds and hundreds of clients trying to get onto a platform that your team are learning and they're learning with all of the ups and downs that come with that and all the questions that come with it all at once. So we're now starting to see the light. It's been a hell of a journey the last couple of months with this. We're now starting to see the light. But as I said, in hindsight, it could have been a lot smoother, a lot easier. And I said it would be more expensive because you're running with multiple platforms. But to ease the pressure and to ease the overwhelm, it's what's needed for a smooth transition. So I want you to take this training and think, next time you are moving forwards with a new platform, a new system, especially when it affects payments, please bear this training in mind and make sure you allow and you dedicate more support for your team on the front end and your customers on the front end as well. So if you would like access to, we've got some brand new episodes that have come out on our podcast, which are super exciting. Lots of different, we're interviewing this year. We're interviewing lots of amazing children's activity entrepreneurs where you can listen to their journey. You can learn through their ups and downs, their trials, their tribulations, and really learn from their experiences. If you would like access to our podcast, I just want you to put podcast in the chat box for us so we can make sure you get the link and you can start tuning in to all the amazing content that we've got coming in 2026. Have an amazing Thursday, and I will see you next week. Bye.